So let's continue. Na disrupt the pod ko no kayo due to the internet connection. We'll just continue. We are on slide 21 last time, no, with the sentence structure natin sa balance. No, sorry. Nato sa balance sentence. Ang atuan na lang is we are just going to finish slide 22 to 35 and then we are done with syntax. Okay? So I will now share my screen again. Hopefully this is the second video na lang for syntax. Okay. So next, we have natural order. The last time, no, nga itong discuss is ang balance sentence wherein there are two clauses but they complement each other. They balance each other. No? They are both independent clauses class but they actually complement or let's say gabalance sa usa no ang usa mo support sa pikas ni ang second pud nga clause mo support sa first clause. Let's now proceed to natural order. So nauna ang subject before the predicate. So unsa ning predicate class? So mo na siya ang kanang indication kung asa, where, or what is the subject. So the subject here are oranges. And then the predicate is grow in California, meaning ang oranges, which is the subject, grows only in California. So a natural order class is ang iyang sentence structure, nag-una si subject, then the predicate. While ang inverted order is bali, no? Nauna si predicate, then si subject. So, inverted order of a sentence inversion involves constructing a sentence so that the predicate comes before the subject. So this is a device in which normal sentence patterns are reversed to create an empathic or rhythmic effect. So in California, grow oranges. Una ang predicate, which is in California, grow, and ang subject ang last, which is oranges. Next is split order. So meaning, ang subject na asa tunga sa duha ka predicate, no? So split order of a sentence divides the predicate into two parts with the subject coming in the middle. So in California, oranges grow. So in California is the first predicate, oranges is the subject, grow is the second predicate. So I might understood the class, no? So natunga siya si predicate, no? And in between si subject. Next, juxtaposition. So juxtaposition is a poetic and rhetorical device in which normally unassociated ideas, words, or phrases are placed next to one another, creating an effect of surprise and wit. This is also an example of freedoms of speech. Figures of speech nga wherein these are two unassociated words, but they are placed next to each other, like apparition of these faces in the crowd. So apparition of these faces in the crowd, petals on a wet black bow. Petals on a wet black bow and apparition of these faces in the crowd is different with each other. No, lahi silang duha pero gi-merge sila to make a surprising or a witty effect. So, may apparition of these faces, masyag ka ng ghost-like faces in the crowd. So, masyag ihalin tulad sa like petals on a wet black bow. You have the parallel structure or parallelism refers to a grammatical or structural similarity between sentences or parts of a sentence. It involves an arrangement of words, phrases, sentences, and paragraphs so that elements of equal importance are equally developed and similarly phrased. So, these are actually different kinds of words class, but they're arranged individually in a sentence, but they each grow and develop in their own words. No, dili man siya ingon nga kanang sa usa ka sentence class lain-lain siya, like dili siya mo stand on his own without the other word supporting the sentence. Kani siya i-separate jud ni siya tulo, like he was walking. So that's a separate sentence. Then running. So nin-develop siya from walking to running. And then jumping for joy. So even if matangtang si jumping for joy, you have he was walking and running. Ga-developer Japon siya. He was walking. So okay na that's a independent clause. But in parallel structure na ay development ang sentence, no. He was walking and then he was running and then he was jumping for joy. So that's a parallel structure. Next, repetition. So repetition is a device in which word sounds and ideas are used more than once to enhance rhythm and create emphasis. For example, I would like to put emphasis on the words people. So I'm going to repeat it, no, all throughout the sentence, like government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. So people is emphasized here. Para makita siya emphasis nga, this is for the people, this is by the people, this is of the people, meaning para ni sa kadaghanan, no, this is for the masses, this is not for one person alone or it's a pure dictatorship. No, it's for the people. Makamasa ni siya because heavily emphasized kaayo siya sa sentence. Next, a rhetorical question is a question that expects no answer. It is used to draw attention to a point and is generally stronger than a direct statement. These are just questions nga wala kag expect nga na I answer. Like for example, if kaya man gani mo magpulaw sa sayop nga tao, then pwede mo magpulaw para sa modules. Oh, that is more siya question type, pero am I expecting an answer? No. No, that's a rhetorical question. Another example is, if Mr. Fairclough is always fair, as you have said, then why did he refuse to listen to Mrs. Baldwin's arguments? Nung more siya og kanang sumbalik ba, no? Marsyag ka nang sumbalik nimo siya nga. If you say that person is fair, ngano man nga wala man siya naminaw or ngano dili man fair yung treatment aning usa ka tawo. Oh, kindly justify that kuno be. Oh, mga ing ana. Or if you have said nga poor inyong internet connection sa balay, how is it nga you're able to play Mobile Legends for straight 5 days, no? Or makalantaw kag Netflix for straight 5 days, pero you complain nga dili ka ka-connect sa online class. Oh, that is an example of a rhetorical question. So, may ana, no? Wala ka ga-expect og answer. It's a question but you do not expect an answer. It is just you are using that to draw attention, no, to the person or to proving a point, no? Next, a rhetorical fragment. So it is a sentence fragment used deliberately for a persuasive purpose or to create desired effect. For example, something to consider. Next, anaphora. Anaphora is the repetition of the same word or group of words at the beginning of successive clauses. For example, we shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. So na a repetition of group of words na in the beginning until the very end of the clauses. Like the word fight, no? Fight siya sa beaches, fight siya on landing grounds, fight siya sa field and in the streets, and then mo fight siya sa hills. So that's an example of anaphora because the word fight is repetitively used in the beginning of the sentence down to the end. Next, asyndeton is a deliberate omission of conjunctions in a series of related clauses, meaning gi-omit ang conjunctions, no, walay ning connect sa I came, I saw, and I conquered, no. The only thing that connecting them is a comma, which is not a conjunction. So asyndeton is like combining three clauses without the use of conjunctions, like I came, I saw, I conquered. Although there were no conjunctions used here, but sabotable naman siya class nga, usara na siya. Now, when he came, when he saw something, he conquered it. So, mo nang example, anak. Chiasmus or antimetabole is a sentence strategy in which the arrangement of ideas in the second clause is a reversal of the first. So instead of saying, ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you, gibali siya if you're going to use antimetabole or chiasmus. Like, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So nabali, nauna ang second clause kaysa sa first clause. So supposedly, if you're going to arrange it properly, pwede man, ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Mumatay na ang sakto tani, pero kanigibali siya. No, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Next, polysyndeton is a deliberate use of many conjunctions for special emphasis to highlight quantity or mass of detail or to create a flowing continuous sentence pattern. So for example, I would like to emphasize nga ako ang pagkaon nga giluto huge jud siya. So ako din butan ni ko daghan kaayo nga mga details, no, para to amplify or to to give emphasis nga dako jud kay ang meal akong gi-prepare. Like for example, the meal was huge. My mother fixed okra and green beans and ham and apple pie and green pickled tomatoes and ambrosia salad and all manner of fine country food. But no matter how I tried, I could not consume it to her satisfaction. So gi-amplify because when he said nga huge kay ang meal nga prepare, yun yung gitagsa-tagsa okra, green beans, apple pie, green pickled tomatoes. So ang anak kada ko nga we're in iso dako siya kitong milyang gi-prepare kay iya detail by detail o explain. Next, psychomythia is dialogue in which the endings and beginnings of each line echo each other, taking on a new meaning with each line. When you say echo, for example, in Hamlet, Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended. Mother, you have my father much offended. So, masyag ka nang ni echo no nga una, yung gisumbat si Hamlet nga, imong gi-offend akong father, and then mother, you also have offended my father. So, masyag nag-echo, no, nag-start siya. So, first one, is kay Hamlet, and then ni-echo siya towards sa Picas, which is sa mother niya. No, so, they have, although, ga-echo silang duha, but different ang meaning sa second clause. And the last one is zeugma, is the use of the verb that has two different meanings with objects that complement both meanings. The heart and car are two different things, but gagamit siya usa ka verb which is stole, but they complement both objects or both objects such as ang car ug ang heart. Like he stole both her car and her heart that fateful night. So when he meant by stole ang car, gikawat niya, but at the same time he also stole her heart, meaning na-captivate ang babae, no, even though gikawatan na siya sa lalaki. So nagamit siya og one verb to complement, or let's say to give meaning to the car and heart, but both of them have different meanings. No, this one is more on sa material, ang heart is more on na-captivate siya sa lalaki. So, mo na siya. Usara siya ka verb class pero it can give two different meanings to two different objects.